Have the 2000s got you down? Do you miss the 90s? Fortunately for you, GoGoFive has you covered with everything 90s. Explosions! Intense rescue situations. Music videos. Milk campaigns. The end of the world with the Y2K bug.
2000年問題？
ああ、今夜12時、日付が2000年に切り替わった途端、コンピューターがおかしくなるかもしれないってあれ。
And selfies. Wait a minute.
金太郎よ。はい。お待ちどうさま。
You weren't the 90s. Anyway, and even Triple X Adventures.
トリプル X? なんだそりゃ。
それは後のお楽しみ。
The 90s.
In the 90s, in the 90s, in the 90s. Oh yeah.
Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us.
Kyuukyuu Sentai, GoGoFive!
What's up everyone, Kaiju no Kami here, and this is my review for Kyuukyuu Sentai GoGoFive from 1999 that Shout Factory has just released. There are a couple things to note about this show. First off, it was airing in 1999 where the belief that the world was going to end in 2000 loomed in the minds of some people, giving the writers an interesting idea to base their show on. Secondly, the story dealt with the concepts of family as our heroes were all siblings. If you recall, 1990's Five-Man featured the same notion, which makes for intriguing bookends depending on where you lie in your thought process on how decades work. If you consider the 90s to be from 1990 to 1999, then you have the decades start with a Family Ranger team and it ends with one. I personally don't, as decades technically go 1 to 10, not 0 to 9, which also fits in perfectly with Sentai given that Soda ended his run with Five-Man, giving new blood to take flight with 1991's Jetman. Nevertheless, how you look at it is still correct, and if you are in the former category, as I said, it makes the decade come full circle. Back to the fact that the show was airing in 1999, it also helps solidify the show's title and reference to its theme. Q is Japanese for 9, which means Kyuukyuu is 99 for 1999. Additionally, Q means first aid, emergency, or rescue. Go is Japanese for 5. Essentially, this show translates into Rescue Task Force 555. Hey, 555, there's also 3 sets of mecha that have 5 bots each to combine in that form. Coincidence? Most likely. Either way, let's take a look at the heroes. The heroes. 10 years before the show's opening, the Tatsumi family's father, Mondo, disappeared.
ここ10年、すべてをこの基地の完成のために注いできた。
2 years later, their mother disappears looking for him, leaving the children to fend for themselves.
やっとお父様の居所が分かったの。遠いところだから、今度は母さんだけで行ってくるわ。ごめんね。
Being that they were from a family of rescue workers dating back to the feudal times, our siblings all took up jobs in that industry. The eldest son, Matoi, became a firefighter. Nagare went on to be part of the fire brigade's chemical engineering department. The middle child, Sho, joined up with the department's air rescue services. While they didn't join up with the fire department, Diamond became a police officer, and the role of a paramedic suited the soul sister Matsuri quite nicely. Mando, played by singer Mike Maki, returns after his 10-year absence to give his children the ability to fight a group of demons that threaten the Earth thanks to an upcoming planetary phenomenon where all the planets line up to form a cross, known as the Grand Cross, giving birth to Kyuukyuu Sentai GoGoFive.
人の命は地球の未来燃えるレスキュー魂救急戦隊
If there is one word I would use to describe this show, it is practicality. A lot of this show tries to stay grounded in reality to make the situation believable as if it were something that could actually happen. At least as realistic as a show about grown-ups in spandex fighting monsters can be. Their henshin devices contain a bunch of nanites that form specialized containment suits that allow them to dive into intense situations that would require a normal rescue worker countless amounts of gear to stay safe, while also allowing them mobility. I also love how you can see their faces through the giant visors that are based on the shields to each force they were a part of. Another aspect that is done well is how the siblings react to their father's return. They are not the least bit happy to see him initially, especially when he has them resign from their jobs without their knowledge.
親父なんてことしてくれたんだ
ショー兄ちゃんもやられたの？
みんなもか？そうなんだ。父さん僕たちの職場に勝手に退職願いを出しちゃったんだ。
What a dick.
But over time, they regain their trust in him. It's done exceptionally well. Besides creating his children's normal Sentai standard gear, he also built a small helper mech named Mint.
でっけえ目覚ましだな。
目覚ましではないアナライズロボミントです
Mint doesn't do too much over the course of the series, but she does provide some help from time to time, such as piloting their mecha to them when they are in battle, babysitting children that were staying at their home, and so on. Moving on to the Rangers themselves, it is only fitting to start with my personal favorite of the group, who just happens to be Matoi. There is a lot of character to him, making him one of the greatest Red Rangers of the entire franchise, if not the greatest. Like 5 Red, he had to raise his brothers and sisters throughout the teenage years, which could not have been easy.
祭りが妙なやつに引っかかってたらどうするんだ。行くぞ。何ですか？
He is also extremely hot-headed, tone deaf,
沈黙だけが音痴が
and will jump into any situation if it means keeping his family safe. The moral of the story is, don't with the Red Ranger. We also get to learn that he has his own rival in the form of a fellow firefighter who mentored him when he was a rookie.
おおやってんな。よし俺も一発。手間かけさせないでお願いだから。すみません。
Matoi is played by Ruichiro Nishioka. If you have been watching Kamen Rider Amazons, you may recognize Jin's actor Masashi Taniguchi as Nagare in this show. Nagare is the inventor-scientist of the group. He will often compete with his father when it comes to new ideas and weapons.
この新しいアンチウイルスシステムはお前が作ったのか。
そう流れオリジナル父さんのより新しいプログラム理論に基づいてる。
いつの間に。
Unlike Matoi, he tries to analyze a problem before jumping into it, which will often frustrate his older brother.
新しい武器がなきゃ俺たちあいつに勝てない。バカなこと言ってるんじゃねえ。あんなやつ気合で倒してやるぜ。
Although, being that his mind looks at aspects from a scientific perspective, it makes him oblivious to the supernatural spectacles.
この世に科学で説明できないことなんて一つもないんだ。ってことはつまりこの世に幽霊は存在しないってことになる。
Dude, you're fighting demons. I think we are way past the state of rationale. We also come to learn that he made a promise with a girl he fell in love with about them both accomplishing their career goals before getting together.
けど私にとってあれは発見じゃないわ。
え？
本当の新発見をするまでお互いに頑張ろうね。流博士。
Speaking of actors featured in the Kamen Rider series, Sho's Atsushi Harada was featured in Kamen Rider Five's as Miharu, who donned the Delta Belt for most of the series.
もちろん新しい人工知能と入れ替えることになるでしょう。
Sho wants to be the best rescue pilot out there and went to a school in California. He also finds himself unable to say no to women that ask him for favors, which at one instant got him stuck giving a group of children a tour of their headquarters.
翔さんを見込んでお願いしたいことがあるんです。
もちろんです。
いいわよ、入ってらっしゃい。
He also worked with Nagare at the fire brigade to help build a rescue robot named Big Dozer.
ビッグドーザー全身消火。
No, we are not going there. We are not going there. Nor is he related to Dozer from Soul Brain.
You're a bigger buzzkill than Buzz Killington.
Sho was also the one who was most upset when he learned his father had him removed from his job, as he felt he was finally near the top of the ladder in his field, and losing that meant the years of work was moot.
チーフパイロットに何すんだよ。
今のお前には関係ねえだろ。
いい加減にしろよ。
Fortunately, he quickly came to realize how important being part of GoGoFive was.
将来は航空隊に入って一番のパイロットになりたいです。そして兄弟みんなで町や人を救いたいです。
The most impulsive of the group is of course our police officer Daimon. Kenji Shibata portrays our milk-loving cop. Like Matoi, he is brash and jumps into battle without thinking of the consequences, but he is quick to give up at times if something doesn't work out in his favor. For example, there was an incident where a child got injured during battle, he blamed himself for what happened, citing that he knew the child was there and still proceeded to fire, which caused him to quit. Well, for about as much as a 22-minute episode runtime would allow you to quit for. He also hates being thought of as an assistant to his oldest brother.
いつもゴーレットがエースだよね。他のみんなは弱いからバックアップしかやらせてもらえないんだ。
ゴーイエローだってやるときはやるんだぜ。
嘘だ。ゴーイエローなんてバックアップばっかりじゃないか。
どうしてパスを出さないんだ。練習にならないじゃないか。
Oh, snap.
On the other hand, he became a cop as he believes that it is a cop's duty to arrest criminals in order for that person to redeem themselves before they go too far.
警察官は逮捕することで犯罪者を救うんだ。救急戦隊なんて言ってるのに、お前を救えないまま警官辞めたことがずっと気になってたんだ。
Unfortunately, despite having so many values, Diamond was the ranger with the least amount of episodes to his name. Of course, if he is your least favorite ranger like mine, that may not be a bad thing. I don't hate Diamond at all. I just think his personality is all over the place at times to the point where he comes off as spastic and needs medication to calm down. Finally, there is the only sister to the group, Matsuri, played by Kyuukyuu Shibata. Shibata has also appeared in a few other movies, such as playing Toshio's teacher in the first Ju-on. Anyway, Matsuri is the one who tries to remember her mother the most, and still to this day believes she will return. She often stays calm and will hide her feelings from others if it means their happiness, as she did with a fellow doctor she fell in love with who was in love with another paramedic.
嘘だよ、そんなの。嘘だよ。
祭りはな。
やめて。
そんだけお前のことが好きだったんだよ。
There are some standout moments with her, such as when she saved a bank robber from falling to his death, redeeming him to wanting more out of life.
逃げるか。
どっちにしても。
There was also an episode where she had to take care of her brothers when they were turned into young kids.
レバ進化。シュート。やった。
There are also a few reoccurring characters that help the Rangers out from time to time. First, we have an astronaut who went to school with Sho named Kyoko. She will often help the Rangers out whether it is in a physical battle or coming up with ideas to defeat the villain's plot of the week.
燃えてるハートは戦闘態勢なんでしょ。うだうだ悩んでないで、最後なんか宇宙の果てにでも吹っ飛ばし してやりなさいよ。
She also aspires to become a member of GoGoFive to the point where she is even dressed up as Go Red in a dream sequence during one episode. She is no wimp either, as she will fight when she has to. Anime fans may recognize her voice as actress Yuko Miyamura, who has voiced many roles like Aisha Clan in Outlaw Star, Asuka Langley in Evangelion, Casca in Berserk, and Chun-Li in all of the voiced Street Fighter video games.
京子さんもよく頑張ったよな。
でしょでしょ。これで私もGoGoFiveの仲間よね。みんな一緒に頑張ろうね。
There's the head of the fire brigade, who is also from a family of rescuers, Kenji Inui. Inui initially requests Tatsumi to shut down GoGoFive after an incident leaves people injured.
辰巳博士、消防局総監の指示です。しばらくGoGoFiveの活動を停止していただきます。首都防災法12条。個人の所有物でも人命に危険が及ぶ場合はそれを差し押さえることができる。
But soon reneges on his decision and has the government work with the team to better Japan. Wait. You mean this show features a politician who actually cares about the general public? You know what? Forget what I said about realism. Their relationship goes so far that he even arranges for his daughter to eventually marry Matoi.
確かめさせてもらっていいですか？
まさか。
Oh, and how could I not mention that this show is narrated by the late, great Daisuke Gori. You know him best as Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball, Jinbei in One Piece, Heihachi in Tekken, Bass Armstrong in Dead or Alive, and Chuzabo in Hurricaneger.
地球を中心に太陽系の惑星が巨大な十字に並ぶ現象をグランドクロスという。グランドクロスは災いを呼び寄せると言われている。
The villains. Like the Tatsumis, the Saima family is just that, a family, which adds a new dynamic to the table that was never explored before in a Sentai show, making them one of the best villain groups of all time. Unlike the Tatsumis, who are mentored by their kind, loving father, the Saima family are ruled by a heartless mother named Grand Witch Grandine. I love how these two characters are pretty much polar opposites, as it symbolizes why both groups act the way they do. The Rangers do not need to prove themselves for their father's affection. It is already there. The Saimas, on the other hand, are constantly striving for their mother's love, unknowing that she only cares about herself. Speaking of Grandine, I love her final design, as it encompasses the faces of some of the monsters of the week featured throughout the show in a similar fashion that Ilias's design did in Gingaman. Oh, and she is voiced by Miho Yamada, who was Maltiwa in O-Ranger.
どうやらお前も冥王の器ではなかったようだな。母上。お前に軽々しく母などと呼ばれたくはない。
The oldest son is Jilfiza, whose wicked design and excellent characterization has made him be one of my favorite Sentai villains overall. Daiki Nakamura's stellar voice work also helps in that matter. Power Ranger fans, you may find this funny, but he is actually the Japanese dub voice for Jason in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
今一度月が満ちそしてかけるとき大魔女グランディーヌ様は降臨なさる。急げGoGoFiveを倒すのだ。
This demon is downright ruthless, as he will kill his own soldiers for his gain when necessary.
命にかけてもお守り申し上げます。言葉に偽りなくば命をかけてGoGoFiveを倒せ。
Hitherto, you can't help but feel for the guy when he makes a comment like this.
母上ご降臨までに何としても長男として成果を上げておかなければ。
The fact that he is so powerful yet feels like he has to prove himself to his mother is just another example of this family being contradictory to the Rangers. It's not something you would expect from a villain of this caliber, but it is. Next up are the middle siblings, Kaboda and Dinas. How can you be the oldest sister if you're the only sister? I throw these two together as they are constantly living in the shadows of Jilfiza and their youngest brother. This drives them to work exceptionally hard to the point of desperation. Nevertheless, they both truly care for their big brother, and you really feel sorry for them in the end. Finally, we have the infant Drop, who somehow manages to kick the GoGoFive's asses until he has to go to the bathroom. Damn, dudes, you just got your asses beat by a baby. Halfway through the show, Drop grows up into an adult form deemed Salamanders. Just like with Joe Fiza, I love his design, though I think they should have given him a human actor face rather than a generic costumed one. Other than that, he ends up being the exact opposite to the rest of the family, as he is instantly loved by his mother, only to lose her favor as his plots are continuously thwarted.
Salamanders, どうやらお前も冥王の器ではなかったようだな。母上。
You may also recognize his voice as belonging to Hikaru Midorikawa, who is most notable for being Top Galler in Aba Ranger, Hero Yui in Gundam Wing, Dio in the JoJo's OVA, Isle in Sailor Moon R, Soften in Bo, Artificial Human 16 in Dragon Ball Z, along with being the current voice to Ten Shinhan.
GoGoFive と地上の命運、我が手にあり、兄弟などというくだらぬものにそんな価値などない。
Like every high-class family, the Saimas have a butler named Alfred. I mean Pierre. Not only does he act as the caretaker to Drop, but he is also the one who gives life to the monsters of the week that are stored in the cards and is the reason they grow. Speaking of the monsters of the week, they are all a fantastic bunch with so many incredible designs and personalities. Some of my favorites include Quakeros, you know, now that I look at the footage, his personality is quite wooden. A cobra creature that can shrink the Rangers but eats them instead of stepping on them. Chaos. Vampira. Wow, sucks to be them. Jin. Lima. A monster that looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Byra.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
Sogoyle.
なんやこりゃ、熱いな、まるでナスや。ありまりゅう。
Hey, his superpower is Colorado weather. And Hallelujah. The foot soldiers are called imps. They are a baddie bunch who are just as much serious as they are silly.
GoGoFive をあそこまで翻弄するとは。
さすがお兄様の才魔じゃ。
Yeah, that happened. As did this. Shoplifting. True supervillainy. It's also cool that in one episode, Dinas has her own special female imps, which also grow big since there isn't a monster of the week in that episode. The mecha. One of the things I love in this show is how practical the mecha was executed. The first batch of vehicles the Rangers have are transported through the city via a train named Go Liner. Also, when the Rangers can't pilot the train themselves, Mint delivers it to them. To make it even more realistic, the vehicles will help each other out to combine, as Go Green's helicopter-type machine will pick up Go Blue's fire engine to place it on top of the armored car and ambulance of Go Yellow and Go Pink. Then we have Go Red's fire engine letters that will pick itself up to form the upper body. You could say that's quite handy.
Oh, sorry. Stubbed my toe.
Thus, they form Victory Robo. I like this guy quite a bit though, it just makes me think of the VRV machines from Car Ranger without the individual transformations. There is a point in the show where Victory Robo gets damaged, so the Rangers combine their train cars into a mech known as Grand Liner, who towers over the monsters. That's so cute, you're doomed. There's also... Sorry guys, I had more to say on this guy, but my train of thought has been derailed. Fine, I'll stop with the puns. Seriously though, Grand Liner is one badass mecha, and like Matoi and Jilfiza, one of my favorite things from the entire franchise. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect, as the Rangers obtain a third set of mechs called the Mars Machines that form Victory Mars. How space vehicles fit within the theme of first aid bewilders me, but hey, you know what? At least Victory Mars has a pretty cool looking land spear weapon. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this one. He's pretty pointless and just makes things a bit more crowded than they needed to be. Lastly, there is another mech who is developed with an AI system named Liner Boy. Liner Boy is similar to Gingaman from Kaku Ranger in that he has his own personality, and it's even given some development when we meet his creator, though he cannot shrink to human size like Gingaman.
怖いのか？笑わないでよ。大丈夫。鏡博士がやってくれるんだ。すぐに終わるよ。鏡博士。父さんが？
Yes, he is a space shuttle motif, but unlike the Mars Machines, he works for me because he was co-designed by Kyuukyuu, so it makes sense that she would come up with a shuttle design. I also like how in the episode where they're bringing in Liner Boy, the Tatsumi family finds out that they might be getting a sixth hero added to their team, and they are quite upset about it. They don't want a sixth hero with them. They think they are fine alone.
俺たちだけで残り2人の魔導士を倒せば親父だって6人目なんて言わなくなるさ。
Not many shows really touch on that aspect when they introduce a sixth ranger. Additionally, both Victory Robo and Liner Boy can combine to form Max Victory Robo.
Jilfiza! 絶対お前を倒してやる!
The mech battles are done far better than they were in Gingaman, as they feel like they have a purpose most of the time. They never outstay their welcome, and the variety each robot brings keeps things from getting boring. It also helps that we don't always have a mech battle in every episode, and there are times they aren't even fighting a monster when they do use them. Sometimes they use them just to save people. The effects and music. I've got to hand it to the effects team here. They did an outstanding job with the show's effects work, especially considering how many scenes in the show require superimposed imaging. Yeah, you can clearly tell what is green screen and what isn't, but the fact that they were quite effective in the execution shows how much care went into the effects work. The fights are well choreographed, and I like how brutal some battles got when it came to damage on their suits. There's also some wonderful lighting in some episodes, especially during sunset battles, and in another moment when Salamanders uses an ability that traps the Rangers within a domed evil zone.
サラマンデスが作り出した暗黒サイマゾーンはサイマ銃のパワーを10万倍に高めるのだ。
I also love how desolate Saima Hell is.
なんか殺風景なところだぜ。うわあ！はい。なんだよ。
It doesn't feature the same variety of villain themes as Gingaman had, but composer Toshiyuki Watanabe, who did the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, gives us a solid score.
ここはユーマ地獄。倒れたサイマの無念が集う死の世界。お前たちのサイマ、ふさわしい場所だ。
This track here is one of my favorites. As is this one. We've also got this. There's just a lot of great music all around, even the stuff that is clearly not original to the show surrounding Salamanders. Even the opening song, sung by Ishihara Shinichi, is so energetic that it gets your blood boiling even before the episode itself starts. What's even cooler is that there are a couple of episodes that do an English translated version of the theme during the battle.
Kyuukyuu Sentai! Go! Fight! 出場!
As often as the case is with me and ending themes, I'm not really a fan of Kono Hoshi wo Kono Machi wo. Try saying that 5 times fast. Takayama Narataka's singing is fine, it's just that I find the song to be dull. Although, I guess having a song that would put you to sleep is the best way to lower your energy level after watching an action-packed episode.
ジェダイとのように大勢狙わずとも、俺ならば一人の獲物で十分なエナジーを手に入れてみせる。
まことか？
人間は星の動きに支配され、一人一人違った運命を持っている。
The episodes. If there's one thing I really have to give GoGoFive credit for, it is that there was not a single episode I hated. Even the clip show had a few redeeming moments, like a drunken Pierre and a Y2K crazed Mint. Remember those days?
しっかりしろよミント。
少年さん。
我こそは竜の名王サラマンデスなり。
Despite not hating a single episode, I will say that my least favorite from the show is the one titled An Innocent Saima Warrior. In this episode, Salamanders sabotages Dinas' monster Thanatos by giving him a weakness that makes it hard for him to confront women. During his initial fight with the Rangers, he is kicking their butts until Matsuri joins in and then everything falls apart from there. The episode is full of silly antics where both Matsuri and Sho try to cure Thanatos of his ailment.
思い切ってレベル落とすからね。頑張って。
Oh, and there's also the yearly female ranger clothing montage scene. It ends exactly how you would expect it to and is pretty much a by the numbers episode. It's not a bad episode by any means, but it is probably the weakest of the entire series minus the clip show. Alternatively, despite there being a countless number of candidates for my favorite episode, I ultimately chose the first one where Jophiza confronts the Rangers, the counter-attacking V-Lancers. You might want to go see a doctor about that.
I don't want to go.
かくなる上はこのジルフィーザ自ら最前線に立ち必ずや地上を破壊と混乱の渦に
Spider-Russ is kidnapping people and bringing them into an alternate dimension. Matoi discovers this plot and chases after them.
お前たちの目的は何なんだ。なぜ意味のない破壊ばかりを繰り返すんだ。
Because I'm evil.
It is also the episode that introduces the Rangers' big weapon upgrades called the V-Lancers.
何やってんだよわし。
知らないの。ブーメラン。指令室に戻れよ。
Overall, it's a really intense episode that is just a prelude to what the next 4 episodes would be. The DVD. Shout Factory has given to us what may be their most solid Sentai release thus far. There was only one mistimed line, which was an episode title. Other than that, and maybe a few misspellings, I have no complaints at all about the subtitles themselves. I do think it is kind of dumb that Shout seems inept at being able to have more than one set of subtitles on screen at a time, as they will translate the song lyrics, but only show them during scenes without any dialogue. One thing I have to praise Shout for is keeping the Saima family as Saima, as I've seen them translated into things like Dissademon and Catastrophine before, which never makes sense to me. Although I have no idea why they spelled Saima P-S-Y-M-A instead of S-A-I-M-A, as we do see a few times in the show, but that is clearly what Toei approved, so whatever. Now, the video quality actually vexes me a tad. When putting together these comparison shots, the video looks to be identical. However, when I watched them on the TV, there were some minor improvements in Shout's release compared to Toei's. This could just be due to Toei's DVDs being authored 15 years ago, while Shout's were done more recently, but I swear they were better.
諦めるもんか。人の命は地球の未来だ。
マトイ、ゴーゴブレスでライフバードを呼ぶんだ。
The movies. Unlike several of its predecessors, GoGoFive actually had 2 direct-to-video movies. The first one is about an alien demon named Golemoa, coming to Earth searching for a sword that will make him invincible.
感じるぞ。シャドウソードが泣いている。ダークソードは必ずこの惑星にある。
He comes from a family that is a rival to the Saimas and ends up gaining their help.
2つの剣の力を手に入れたら利用するだけ利用して殺してしまうつもりなのよお兄さんは
At the same time, a man named Jeek comes to Earth on a quest for revenge against Golemoa as he killed his entire planet.
やめろ。邪魔するな。
お前の攻撃では俺のシールドは破れん。
Jeek is played by Ryu Ranger Keiichi Wada.
ゴルモアがダークソードを手に入れたら取り返しがつかないことになるんだ。
The movie is pretty much an extended episode, though it's not all that interesting because Jeek is barely developed. He comes to Earth with a chip on his shoulders, meets Kyoko, who just happens to look like his dead girlfriend,
Of course!
gets injured, explains his dilemma, and then passes his power on to her.
Jeek! Hit that!
Oh yeah, and of course, Golemoa gets his sword to become powered up.
Honey,
You got real ugly.
What also makes matters worse is despite this movie taking place between episodes 18 and 19, Kyuukyuu never once references it all in the show, making me wonder if it is even canonical. As for the second movie, GoGoFive vs. Gingaman, it's not that much better. There's not much chemistry between the two Ranger casts, and the rescue and fantasy themes just don't mesh well together. It's like taking two solid objects and trying to smash them together. That doesn't mean there aren't good scenes, as I do like the banter here between Matoi and Ryoma.
こんなのまで着る必要あったのかな。僕がこのオレンジはレスキューの誇りなんだ。あ、それ危ないよ。
But the reasons for these characters hanging out just don't jive.
俺たちの攻撃が通用しねえからか。君たちには危険が大きすぎると思う。
Oh, and the plot is about the true elder brother to the Saima family returning after being banished as a baby.
なぜそんな。奴は赤ん坊にしてわらわの命を狙ったのだ。
To be fair, and to the movie's credit, that does sound like something Grandine would actually do. As for the demon's goal, it is to raise a giant beast to destroy the earth.
Of course!
来たか。待っていたぞ。
お前がこいつらの責任者ってわけか。一体何を企んでるんだ。
There's quite a few mature themes to be found in the story.
これは。
And the behemoth is cool looking. But ultimately, I found myself mentally gone by the time the big battle actually happened. GoGoFive is one of those shows that I could spend hours upon hours gushing over. There is so much more that I want to talk about that I intentionally skipped over in this review because I do want there to be some surprises for you when you watch it. This is without a doubt a near perfect 5 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. There's just so much going on with the show, so much depth to the characters because of the family aspect that it is easily one of the best Sentai shows out there. I am so glad Shout Factory gave us a solid DVD release that is worthy to its name. Go out and buy it right now, you will not regret it. Until next time, bye.
無限連鎖のカード。